Hey guys! Okay, so for today's post, I wanted to just take a moment and share with you guys a little bit more about my journey. And it definitely it kind of encompasses it all. You know, this month we're talking about fitness and our nutrition and self love. And what I want to share with you guys today is something that's very personal and it's a little hard for me to talk about, so forgive me if there's pauses as I'm trying to find the right words to say to express myself without sounding like a complete fool. But I know that a lot comes from being able to share and be open with other people to not only help myself grow more, but maybe reach out and help someone else. So, anyways, like I said, I'm not really comfortable talking about this super openly. I mean, I am if we're one on one, I'm an open book, but anyways, so we'll just get to it. So, I just had my third baby a year ago, and it wasn't until she was about 5 or 6 months old that I just really started noticing that something was wrong. Not with her, with me. And I just, it wasn't just the typical slump that you get into after you have a baby where you're accepting a new body and having a hard time with that and just being tired. I know that it all affects it, but I didn't feel like myself. And it was getting to the point where I didn't like who I was becoming. And I didn't like the way that I was treating the people that I loved and the people that were the closest to me, which was my husband and my children. I just was irritable all the time. I'm a mom who yells. I just do. I don't really see anything wrong with that per se, but it was getting to the point where my fuse was so short that I just didn't even want to be around anybody, my kids. They annoyed me to no end. The first thing out of my mouth when they would just call my name, when they just would say mom, was just this really nasty what, and no patience whatsoever, which I struggle with anyways, but it was worse. And it was just hard. And I was seeing myself as someone that I never wanted to be. I knew motherhood was challenging. I struggled with the first two, but there was always a reason. This is my first kid. I've never done this before, so that's why it's so hard. And then when I had my second one, when my oldest was only 2, there was always a reason. It's because they're so close in age and going through, like I said, there's always something. And I think all of those things attributed to it. But it was after I had my daughter last year and around 7 weeks postpartum when I was ready to, okay, well, I'm not feeling good about myself, so I'm going to start working out again. And I, turned to Beachbody and started doing the Insanity Max 30 program and was having success with it. I was losing inches and feeling better about myself that way, and trying to eat better, not perfect, but better. And it really wasn't making a difference. And I was still mean. And that's hard to admit because it's just better to talk about all the things that are good. But when you start to recognize something in yourself about your character, that's hard. And it wasn't just, well, I'm overweight because I just had a baby. Or, things that came with food. It was me as a person. And I didn't like the person that I was. And bless my husband's soul for putting up with me and giving me the benefit of the doubt most of the time. But it was some self-reflection when exercise and nutrition wasn't helping. I realized that there was something wrong and that I couldn't fix it on my own. In fact, I'll share with you, my mom came to visit, and she was only here for 4 days, and I was excited that she was coming. And I think because someone from outside of my home was present, that's when like the aha happened for me. I wasn't mean to her, but I wasn't able to keep it under control in front of somebody else. And even though it's my mom and she sees all sides of me, normally when it comes to being irritated at my kids or frustrated with my husband or just upset about anything, you can kind of keep it more in check when someone else is around. And I couldn't. And there was even a point where we were standing in the kitchen. I remember exactly. The kids were at the table. My mom was helping them with something. Doug and I were at the counter. He was opening up mail, or I was opening up something from the mail, and my little 5-year-old was trying to get in under my arms to see what I was doing. And I just was snapping at him to go away and to stop. And my husband looked at me and he's like, "What's wrong?" And I just shrugged my shoulders and was like, I don't know. I don't know what's wrong. And when I took my mom to the airport, I felt super guilty because I felt like I'd squandered the time that she was there to visit with us by being a total grump. And I apologized to her for it because I recognized it. And she didn't deny it. Bless her heart, she wasn't mean. She didn't make it worse, but she didn't deny my behavior. And she said, "Rachel, you just need to do what you need to do to get happy and to be happy." And honestly, from that moment on, I knew that something was going on with me that I could not control. And so I reached out for help from my doctor and, have been suffering from postpartum. And my doctor, even though he is not the doctor that I had with my first 2 children, because we lived in a different state, just asking me about the time with them, I'm pretty sure I had postpartum with both of my boys, and I just didn't know it. And I was able to just pull through eventually on my own. And just with life's factors that have come into play over the last year and everything that we've been through with another big move and multiple complications with me as far as having miscarriages and ectopic pregnancy, and even my pregnancy with Amelia wasn't easy. I was diagnosed with a blood clotting disorder and had to give myself blood thinner shots my entire pregnancy in my stomach. And so there just was so much going on that I feel like I just cracked. But I'm so glad that I was able to recognize those things in me and recognize that this isn't the person that I wanted to be, and had some serious self-reflection and decided to do something about it. So I have been taking medication since September, and I'm still in the journey of figuring things out because it's not always a one and done, and there's a lot of self-reflection that you have to do and be very aware of. But it's gotten so much better, and I am so glad that I reached out and wasn't afraid. It's more common than you think. And as I have gradually talked about it more with people one-on-one, I have come to learn that I am not alone and that there are so many of us that deal with this, and it needs to be talked about more often, and it needs to be accepted. I had a really hard time with thinking that I was broken. And I'm not broken. And I know that now. And for me, I wanted to share with you guys this because I don't know if any of you have gone through it yourself or going through it now and don't know what to do or don't know what it is. But as we talk about self-talk or self-love, it's important to know that part of loving yourself is accepting yourself and accepting who you are and what's going on in your life. It's not about being in denial. It's not about just accepting things for the way they are. It's about improving yourself and making the changes necessary to get where you want to be. I didn't want to be that mom. I didn't want to be the way that I was. Am I perfect? No. Has medicine made me like the happiest go lucky woman on earth? No. There are still really bad days. And there are still days where I yell way more than I should at my kids. And there are days where I snap at my husband for no reason. But I'm trying and I'm doing everything that I can. Well, I mean, I'm sure there's days I could be doing more, but it's a constant journey. And it's one that I am on for who knows how long. I mean, the journey lasts forever, but I don't know how long I'll need to be taking medicine to help with my irritability and short fuse and things like that. But, it's okay. And I'm not broken and I'm strong and we can do anything, right? So I know this is getting long and I'm sorry. I was really nervous to share and to open up with you guys about this. I try to put my best foot forward most of the time and suck it up, so to speak. But I think it's very important for us to be real with not just ourselves, but with others. Be genuine. Don't be afraid to be a little transparent. There's a lot of growth that comes from doing so. Anyways, there's not really a homework assignment that goes along with this because it's just me sharing with you guys a little bit more about what's going on in my life. And when it comes to self-love, it comes, there's more that comes with it. You need to love yourself, but you also need to acknowledge things that are going on in your life and not hesitate to reach out and to problem solve for yourself, because it's making those little changes that are going to make us be the person that we want to be, right? So anyways, I hope you guys all have a great Wednesday. It's halfway through the week and hope you guys have a good rest of the week. Okay, bye.